Hi, my name is Willie, and my drug is Ativan. The generic name is diazepam. And I'm talking about the functional groups. First of all, there's a functional group here, halogen, and a halogen here. There's an aromatic ring here and there, and an alcohol group right there, and an amide from here to here. And the areas are highlighted on this next page. In pink are the aromatic rings, and the halogens in green, and the alcohol in yellow, and the amide in blue. The Vesper geometry right here on this nitrogen is a trigonal pyramidal, and on this carbon is a trigonal planar, and on this carbon is a tetrahedral, the 4 bonds, and a bent angular on this nitrogen as well as this oxygen. I have them highlighted on this next page. So the trigonal planar right here on this nitrogen, trigonal pyramidal on this nitrogen, and a trigonal planar on this carbon as well as all these other carbons. And then a tetrahedral on this carbon, and a bent angular on this nitrogen as well as on this oxygen. Hydrogen bonding with water. Can hydrogen bond with water in numerous places. On this hydrogen, it will bond with the oxygen in water, as well as on this hydrogen, it'll do the same. On the lone pair of this nitrogen, it will bond with the hydrogen of water, as well as on this lone pair of nitrogen. On these two lone pairs of oxygen, it will bond with the hydrogen of waters as well as this oxygen down here. And in blue, I have where this hydrogen makes the hydrogen bond to the oxygen of water, as well as on this hydrogen here. And down here, these two nitrogens is making a hydrogen bond to the hydrogen of water, and on the lone pairs of the oxygens as well. Polarity and solubility rationale. I predict that Ativan will be soluble in water because it has many polar regions. There's a polar region right here, this chlorine, and a polar region here on this aromatic ring between the chlorine and the carbon. And then there are many on this area. From the nitrogen to this carbon is polar, the nitrogen in this hydrogen area is polar, the nitrogen to this carbon is polar, and the carbon double bond to this oxygen is polar, and then the carbon in this alcohol group here is polar. From the carbon to this nitrogen is polar, and the nitrogen double bond to this carbon is polar as well. So with that many polar regions on one molecule, with that many carbons, it will be soluble in water. And so in blue here is all the areas highlighted that are polar. Hydrophobic and ionic bondings with protein. Ativan will not make ionic bonds with protein because it is not ionic. It will make hydrophobic bondings with protein in quite a few areas. Right here, 3 areas on this aromatic ring where this carbon hydrogens are, as well as the carbon hydrogen area right here, as well as these 4 down here on this aromatic ring as well. And these are all the areas highlighted where it's hydrophobic and nonpolar. There's only one chiral carbon on Ativan, and that is this one right here. Ativan does not react with acid-base groups. It doesn't behave that way with the changes in pH. I'm going to talk about the oxidation of alcohol with Ativan. Right here, where this alcohol is, between this alcohol and carbon, this hydrogen, they'll lose this hydrogen and make a double bond between the oxygen and the carbon. And this is showing that change, the double bond with the hydrogens gone. Again, Ativan, lorazepam is the generic name. Anybody have any questions?
Woo! Good job.